Meditations continued far eagerness. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slips straining upon the start. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and finds the early morning had gold in his mouth. A man is earnest, finds means, or if he cannot, creates them. For not to live at ease is not to live. Studious of leprous ease. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Other men live to eat, while I eat to live. Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we shall die. That so few now dare to be eccentric marks the chief danger of time. Our egos roll from soul to soul and grow from forever. Ere you consult your fancy, consult your purse. He who will not economize will have no to agonize. Beware of little expensive or small, he can sink a great ship. Nothing in education is so astonishing as the amount of ignorance it accumulates in the form of inert facts. Education is the chief defense of nations. What then is education? Surely gymnastic for the body and the music for the mind. Education begins with life. The great secret of education is to secure the body, and mental exercise shall always serve that relax one another. Wealth, power, and efficiency are the appurtenances of life and not life itself. One has to achieve not merely technical efficiency but greatness of spirit. There is nothing which has not been better before being right. We must not strive that each man may regard himself as the chief cause of the victory. Faith is conceptual reason in the logical counterpart of the egoism, which makes the selfish ego the deadliest ego of the soul. I find no sweet fact that sticks to my own bones. He mouths a sentence out of a mouth of bone. Thoughts that breathe and words that burn. Eloquence is the mistress of all arts. Censure is the tax a man pays to the public for being eminent. All empire is an immense egoism. Empire is no more than power interest. The hand of little employment had that dangerous sense. Envy to which the ignoble mind slave is emulation to the learned or brave. All may do what by man has been done. Let the end try the man, all's well that ends well, still the finish is the crown. We always succeed when we only wish to do well. How things are compassed off by easy means. There is an endless merit in man's knowing when to have done. He conclusively endures. It is impossible for any man not to have some enemies. There is no little enemy. Genius is mainly an affair of minority. This world belongs to energetic. The rewards of the thing well done is to have done it. Only mediocrity of enjoyment is allowed to man. The shining light that shines more and more unto the perfect day. Human nature is fundamentally good, and the spread of enlightenment will polish all wrong. Enmities always keep pace and are interwoven with friendship. Kites rise against not with the wind. No man ever worked his passage anyway in a dead glen. For one of the pleasures of having a rout is the pleasure of having it over. The enthusiasm of old man is singularly like that of infancy. Nothing great was achieved without enthusiasm. The prudent man may direct state, but it is the enthusiastic who regenerates it or ruins. Envy has no other quality but of detracting from virtue. The most antisocial and obvious of all passions is that between envy and pity. He had a fair spectre in the grateful stomach of the judicious epicure, and for such Tom might continue to die. Let's go hand in hand, not one before another. A good judge judges according to what is right and good, prefers equity to a strict law. The cruelest lies are told in silence. I doubt the equivocation of a friend that lies like truth. Error is the force that welds men together. Truth is communicated to men only by needs of truth. To err is human, to persist in error is devilish. All true love is founded upon esteem. Nothing is there to come and nothing pass, but an eternal now does always last. The evil and good are God's right and left. Every etiquette prevents me from doing things disagreeable to myself. I am a perfect marionette. The day is done and the darkness falls from the wings of the night. I claim not to have controlled events, but to confess plainly that events have controlled me. Coming Events cast their shadows before. These most brisk can carry best time. Some circumstantial evidence is very strong, as when you find a trout in the milk. The ear is less trustworthy witness than the eye. The evil that men do lives after death, and the good is often interred with their bones. It is a great evil not to be able to bear an evil. Evil by itself has no legs to stand upon. Evil to him who evil thinks. The survival of the fittest, which I have ever sought to express in mechanical terms, is that which Mr. Darwin has called natural seclusion of the preservation of favored races in the struggle for life. Evolution is not a force but a process, not a chance cause but a law. Nothing is so infectious as example is less lesson that all men can read. Fearless minds climb soonest upon crowns. The best in characteristics are wrong. Experience keeps a dear school, yet fools will learn in another. A sadder and wiser man. He rose the tomorrow morn. He rose the morrow morn. I wish we could explain his explanation. The language of the soul never lends itself to expression. It rises superior to the body. Language is a limitation of the truth which can only be represented by life. Extravagance and good luck by long custom go hand in hand. Western times is the most extravagant and the costly of all expenses. Avoid extremes, excess of sorrow, loves, excess of joy, weeps neither great poverty nor great riches will hear reason. The eye believes themselves, the ears believes other people. We must look the world in the face with calm eyes, even though the eyes of the world are bloodshot today. Wow. Face, man is straight in his face. A cheerful face is merely as good as a foreign invalid as health. Well, whether your face is a book where man reads a strange math party is a madness of many for the gain of the few. Get your facts and then you can distort them as you please. And even have his failings lean to virtue's side. This is not fierce as hell as a failure and a great option, but to him who tries and fails and dies, I give great honor and glossy and teases. He went forth to battle, but they always fair. If you have faith in the cause and the means and in God, the hot sun will be cool for you. Faith is a continuation of reason. Work without faith is like an attempt to reach bottomless pit. The deepest hunger of a faithful heart is faithfulness dropped from the zenith like the falling star. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How are the mighty fallen? We are none of us infallible, even when not even the youngest. Passion for time, passion is in the instinct of all great souls. Fame is the fortune of the heroic deeds. What a heavy burden is a name that has become famous. I woke one morning and found myself famous. Familiarity breeds contempt in children. Familiarity is a magician that is cruel to beauty but kind to ugliness. All happy families resemble one another. Every unhappy family is in its own way. Forever, brother, Helen, farewell. Fare thee well, and if forever, still forever, fare thee well. All farmers brighten, most winter migrants. Slave of the wheel of labor, what to him are plateau and swing of Pleiades. A farmer is always going to be rich next year. He has a smooth disposed to be expected, framed to make woman false. To be suspected, framed to make woman fall. Fascination. National Socialism does not harbor the slightest aggressive intent toward any European nation. While the world class fashion will continue to lead it by the nose, I see that the fashion wears about more apparel than the man. A fashionable woman is always in love with herself. Fastidiousness is the envelope of indelicacy. Fasting is futile unless it is accomplished by an insistent longing for self-restraint. As killing at the canker to the rose, with patience bear, with prudence push your fate. Tempted fate will lead the lofty star. We make our fortunes and we call them Father. To go himself, we cannot give a holy name. A fall confesses half redress. The greatest of all, I should say, is to be conscious of none. Extreme eagerness is to return an obligation. It's a kind of ingratitude. Let us fear God, and we shall cease to fear men. In time, we hate which we often fear. Early and provident fear is the mother of safety. The true essential of the peace are only fun and feed. who feels every day feels no day. Write me as one that loves his fellow man. If he did not fellow, if he be not fellow with the best king, thou shalt find the best king of good fellows. There are some feelings time cannot numb. He who has felt nothing does not know how to learn anything. If money goes before, always doors lie open. No wild enthusiasm ever yet could rest, till half mankind were like himself possessed. In the uncertain glory of the apparent literature and luxury, fiction is necessary. Man is a poetical animal in licensed fidelity to existence. I have followed it to the last ground with truth and loyalty. I have not yet begun to fight. There is such a thing as a man being too proud to fight. There is such a thing for the fighter, the fight itself is victory, for he takes delight in it alone. What's done is done. The fact is, the moment financial stability is assured, spiritual bankruptcy is also assured. Public credit means the contracting of debts which a nation never can pay. A burnt child dreads the fire. Better a little fire that warms than a big one that burns. It is only those who possess firmness who can possess true gentleness. When firmness is sufficient, rashness is unnecessary. The imperial ensign, which full high at once shone like a meteor streaming to the wind. Flattery corrupts both the receiver and the giver. One can just move flies with a spoonful of honey, then with 20 casks of vinegar. It is easy to flatter, it is hard to praise. The word, the flesh, and the devil. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. But when we find that the least of an flutteration is love. Full many a flower is born to blush unseen, the waste of sweet and waits its sweetness on a desert air. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. But I too, I will woo the dainty rose, the queen of everyone. The fly sat upon the axle to the chariot wheel said, what it does do I rest. The wanton body that kills a fly shall feel less spiders in material. There is a foolish corner even in the brain of sage. He who lives without folly is not so wise as he imagines. None but a fool is always right. My flowers seek not that paradise in the fool's buttonhole. Let the fool made serviceable according to his folly. What fool these mortals be? Into the limbo lodge and frogs and fall the paradise of fools of few unknown. Her feet beneath her petticoat like little mice stolen and out as her big ear to life. Every day preserves in the state of rest and uniform motion in a straight line, except in so far as it is compelled by the change that state is nearby impressed forces. What is readily yielded to courtesy is never yielded by force. To force is rugged way of making love, knowing how nature threatens or she springs. Oh, that man might know the end of this day business it come, and life hasn't changed for thought, whence forewarned, forearmed. Forgiveness adorns a soldier. Forgiveness is our debts. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. The heart is always the bargaining power. Nobody ever forgets where he buried hatchet. In general, the more completely cased with formulas a man may be safer, happier day for him. Fortune never seems to blind as to those upon whom she has bestowed no favors. Every man is architect of his own fortune. We make our own fortunes and call them fate. As a free pen, no one could replace when there is no wisdom but frankness. The person the worst of all flaws is deceit, but none can love freedom heartily but good men. The rest love not freedom but blindly. We gain freedom when we have paid the full price for our right to live. A man who's made for freedom has got to take tremendous risk and take everything. The cause of freedom is the cause of God, sufficient to have stood, though free to all. Love is only chatter, friends, all that matter. Change your pleasure, but not change your friends. Most friendship is friendly, most loving. We are falling. There's a beautiful. There are three faithful friends, an old wife with an old daughter in dreading money. And to is a crucible in which friendship is tested full, while the busy whispers circling round and convey the dismal tide and witty frown. By sowing frugality, we reap liberty, a golden harvest. Overjoyed was he to find that though she was on pleasure bent, she had a frugal mind. Though to her things grow fair against the sun, yet fruit that blossom first will first be ripe. Beware the fury of the patient man. I never think of the future, it comes soon enough. Ignorance of future ills is a more useful thing than knowledge. Where all its laws of future still remains. The highest wisdom is never to worry about the future, but to rend ourselves entirely to his will. Getty is often the reckless ripple over the depths of despair. Gain cannot be made without some other person's loss. Sometimes the best gain is to lose. So faithful in love, so dauntless in war, there were never was night like the young Clotchen were. Gambling, there are two times in a man's life when he should not speculate, when he can't afford to and when he can. Keep flags from fire and youth from gambling. It is the child of rise, the brother of iniquity, and the father of mischief. Gambling is the principal entrant in human nature. The game is not worth the candle. It is not shameful to have played games, but it is shameful not to have left out playing them. The best place to seek God is in the garden. You dig for him there. God, the first garden made and the first king. God Almighty first planted the garden, and indeed it was the purest of human pleasure. General notions are generally wrong. General and abstract ideas are the source of the greatest of man's errors. My beauty is as boundless as the sea, my love is as deep. There was a man, though some did think him mad. The more he cast away, the more he had. Genius is nothing but a great aptitude for patience. Genius is infinite painstaking, spiritual life is the genius of India. Great genius have the shortest biographies. Genius must be born. It can never be taught. How weak a thing in gentility if it wants virtue. There is no character which is low-minded man so much mistrust as that of a gentleman. With Adam dealt and Eve's bad. Who was then the gentleman? Your gentleness should force more than your force to move us to gentleness. Nothing as strong as gentleness, nothing as so gentle as real strength. I am the father's friend, doomed for a certain time to walk the night. All argument is against it, but all belief is for it. On the appearance of the man's spirit after death. There were giant in the earth in those days, and make presents to the mother, but think of the daughter, whom forgives us scorn, where givers are despised, for the noble mind, rich gives wax poor, which givers prove mankind. Men seldom make passes at girls who wear glasses. What a little girl's made of sugar and spice and all things nice, and unpleasant girl, unschooled, unpracticed. Glory follows virtue like a shadow. What drives glory? Like manners is the glory of this life. The nearest way to strive, the glory is to be what you wish to be thought to be. Glory lies in the attempt to reach one's goal and not reaching it. God is the incorporeal, divine, supreme, infinite, mind, spirit, soul, principle, life, truth, love. A foe of God was never a true friend of man. God is not a cosmetic built body for whom we can press a button to get there. It's fear that one who fears not God. God's great power is in the gentle breeze, not in the storm. God is truth and light is shadow. If God didn't exist, it would be necessary to invent him. O love of God, thou means of armors, thou godly gold, hard good for Midas. Every door is marked with gold and opens with a golden key, but two golden keys. Therefore, all things whatsoever you would do, that you should do unto you, do you even so unto them. The golden rule is that there is no golden rule. Good breeding is surface Christianity. It's not only noble to be good, and if otherwise is when the world to turn a truly good action into ridicule, be good and she'll be lonesome. Abhor that which is evil, cleave to that which is good. And preachers have ears and have many servants. It is the folly of too many mistakes to mistake the echo of a London coffee house for the voice of the kingdom. For whisperings, foul whisperings are abroad. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. The safety of the state is the highest law. Every country has the government it deserves. No government can possibly withstand the bloodless opposition of the whole nation. You are fallen from grace. How is it greatness it a grace for his soul, Paul? So turn and finish for the cap and cone. The word grace is an Anglicism, is profane. Why care for grammar as long as we are good? For all your rhetoricians, rules teach nothing but ruling students. The father editing is so grave, and the children's teeth are set on age. Gratitude is the memory of heart. Though the horn is thy in that flower, pick me, O beauty, I'm grateful. Gratitude is a life essence of the future favors. Grave is but the threshold of eternity. There the wicked cease from troubling, we are the very are we at rest. The house that he makes lasts till the doomsday. Man become great exactly in the degree in which he works for the welfare of his fellow men. Greatness and goodness are not means but ends. All great men come out of the middle classes. The great are only great because we are on our knees. Let us rise. What millions died, what that Caesar might be great. He is not great who is not really good. Greatly good. Grief is itself a medicine. Everyone must master a grief, but he that has it. Sorrow's best antidote is employment. No grief is so acute, but time ameliorates it. Grumble. It's a general popular error to suppose the loudest complaints for the public to be the most anxious for his welfare. Those who complain most are most to be complained of. Yes, the pretty woman is a welcome guest. Pleasance of all ties is the tie of the host and guest. Be right and joyful, jovial amongst your guests tonight. The friendship laws are by his rule expressed. Welcome the coming, speech the parting guest. Guilt is always jealous. Hearty repentance broke the age of the guilt and laid the way to a proper understanding. Every man carries a bundle of his sins upon his own back. Habit. Habit with him was all the test of truth. It must be right. I have done it from my youth. Ill habits gathered by unseen degrees, as brook make rivers and run into seas. Habits is 10 times nature. The fox changes his skin but not his habit, and great is the force of the habit. It teaches us to bear the labor and to scorn injury and pain. Hair, how white hair become a fool and a jester. My hair is grey but not with tears, nor grew it white in a single night as men have grown with sudden fear. Hands, pale hands, I love you, Zaita Shalima. Where are you now? Who lies beneath your spell? There is no better sign in a plain mind than a hard hand. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten the little hand. Let us go hand in hand, no one before another. We must all hang together, so we shall all hang separately. Yet sometimes it shall fall on a chain that fall not off within 1,000 years. Happiness depends on what you can give, not what you can gain. That action is best. Which procures the greatest happiness. For the greatest number, happiness lies first of all in health. How wide the limits stand between the splendid and the happy hand. The best secret of happiness is renunciation. The happy only are the truly great. Now the heart is so full that a drop overfills it. We are happy now because God will it. Worse than a bloody hand is the heart. Plenty and peace, breeze, covers hardness, ever hardness is mother. Ability and necessity dwell near each other. Who they harm? who they whom God protects. Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweetened. He hanged the harps upon the billows. Hess admired its little things bad. Yes, it's of the devil. Hurry is the mark of the weak mind. Dispatch of the strong one make haste so slowly. Hate is the subtlest form of violence. Hating people is like burning down your own house to get rid of brand. Hated by fools and fools to hate. By both my motto and my faith, all of a world organization will grow ineffective. The truth that love is stronger than hate does not inspire them. People hate as they love unreasonably. Hatred is a subtle anger. To instruct the human race, need one discard humanity. Is it to the judge of the hatred indispensable to show us the truth? In time we hated that we often fear. Hatred is self-punishment. Two heads are better than one. And still they gazed, and still the wonder grew that one small head could carry all he knew. A sound mind and a sound body is a thing to pray for. The first wealth is health. The early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Every day and everywhere I'm getting better and better. Give me help and think, and I will make the form of interest ridiculous. The heart is no language, it speaks to the heart. My heart is turned to stone. I strike it and strikes in my hand. Hand clings to hands and I lingered on eyes. This begins the record of our hearts. A good heart is what gold. A heart of the fool is in its mouth, but the mouth of the wise man is in his heart. Kind hearts are more than coroners, and simple faith than normal blood. There is no instinct like that of the heart. O hearts that break and give no sign, save whitening lips and facing tresses. We are the tresses. 3. There will your heart be also. In my Father's house are all many mansions, always in heavens too. Earth has no sorrow that heaven can heal. To love of heaven, the love of heaven makes one heavenly, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. So first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no mere sea. Was Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba? Wide is the gate and broad is the way that lead to destruction, and many there be which go in thread. The laws of heaven is a great pain in hell. The gates of hell are open night and day. Smooth in descent and easy is the way. Sweet the help of one, we have helped. Light is the task, we are many, share the toil. God helps us when we feel ourselves humbler than the dust under our feet. Only to the weak and the helpless is divine succor vouchsafed. Our hand is only an egg's way of making another egg. Few sunset in the place of their great sires, the most their sires disgrace. A worthy son old face adds to the legacy that he perceives. Better hearsay of doctrine than hearsay of heart. One mother makes a million a hero. Heroes have trod his spot. It is on their dust ye breathe. Give honor to our heroes fallen, how else? So ever the cause then bid them put to die. No man is the hero of his own wife. No woman is a wife to her hero. No man is a hero to his valet. A highbrow is a person educated beyond his intelligence. When we are in doubt whether an action is good or bad, abstain from it. The prophets of the Spirit make history just by standing outside the street. The history of the world is a record of a man in quest of its own daily bread and butter. Reading history through our prejudice, history is bunk. The men who make history have no time to write. It's happy as people who analyze our details. What is history but a pebble agreed upon? As a speech, you must never change the history of the world. Man's history is written for the purpose to insulted man. All history is lie. History is something that never happened written by a man working there. And all the year was playing holiday to sport would be as tedious as to work. What is the life full of care? We have no time to stand and stare. Holiness is a cemetery of the soul. A holy man is one who never considers himself superior to any one single creature on earth, and who has announced all the pleasures of life. Renounce all the pleasures of life. Home is where the heart is. Home is a place where when you have to go there, you have to take you in. A comfortable house is a great source of happiness. It tranquility after the death and the good conscience. There is type of the wise who is slow but never true to thick in death. kindred points of heaven and home. Without heart there is no home. Seven cities bought for Homer being dead, who living had no roof to shroud his head. Honesty is the best policy. Honesty is really only the art of being honest. An honest man, the noblest work of God. No legacy is so rich as honesty. A straight line is the shortest of mortals, as well as in geometry. Only the man of serene mind can realize the spiritual meaning of life. Honesty with oneself is the condition of spiritual integrity. I could not love thee, dear, so much loved I do not honor more. We honor the illustration best by following the example. If I lose mine honorable, I'd lose myself. What is fitting in honor? What is honorable and fitting? Honorable, honest, and great employment are great burdens. Hope. A strength in the human breast, man never is, but always to be blessed. For where no hope is left on fear. I cultivate hope and see it with a daily. Alas, what does it serve to water the leaf when the tree is cut off at its root? Farewell, happy fields, where joy forever dwells, hell, horror, hell. A horse, my kingdom for a horse. You may lead a horse to waters which can't make him drink. A horse thou knows, a man thou doest not. No. I was a stranger and you took me in on hospitable thoughts and then. I in my own house am an emperor and will defend what's mine. The house of everyone is to him his castle and fortress as well for his defense against injury and violence as for his reports. After all, there is but one great humanity. I am a man and not a human will be of indifference. Real education consists in growing the best of yourself. What better can there be than the book of humanity? But bearing oftentimes and is still the music of humanity. Humble we are, humble we have been, humble we should let it be. Humility is key to great success. Humility is the root, mother, nurse, foundation, and bend of all virtues whatsoever shall mind be. On the right cheek, turn to him also, that also. Be lowly wise, think only what concerns thee, and by thy being dream not of other words. If I had no sense of humor, I should long ago have committed suicide. Good humor is one of the best articles of dress one can wear in society. The best source of food is hunger. When a man wants to murder the tiger, he calls it sport. When a tiger wants to murder me, he calls it ferocity. No man is a hypocrite in his pleasures. False face must hide when the false heart doth know. A man is at his worst when he pretends to be good. Idle. And idle is that which never touches the real. He is the greatest artist who has embodied in the sum of his works the greatest number of the greatest idols. We build statues of snow and weep to see them melt. When a man works for an idol, he becomes irresistible. An idolist is a person who helps other people to be prosperous. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her way and be wise. Idleness is only the refuge of the weak mind. Lost time is never gained again. Of all our passions, the one we are least quite cognizant of is idleness. There is no greater cause of melancholy than idleness. I loaf and invite my soul. I lean and loaf at my ease, observing a sphere of the summer class. Idols, four species of idols with the human mind. Idols of the tribe, idols of den, idols of market, idols of the theatre. If is the only peacemaker, much virtue in it. Ignorance, there is no darkness, but ignorance, better the unborn than unsought, for ignorance is the root of misfortune. I am not ashamed to confess that I am ignorant of what I do not know. Where ignorance is bliss, it is folly to be wise. We trust that tomorrow good will be the final goal of ill. The surest way to hell, say what they will, is never to suppose we shall be ill. Illusion, so does the glory depart and so dangerous and this illusion is to grow up? Were it not for imagination, sir, a man would be happy in the arms of the chambermaid as of a duchess. Imagination is the eye of the soul. Don't let us make imaginary evils when you know we have so many real ones to encounter. Imagination rules the world, the faculty of recreating God's world, which man calls his imagination. Imitation is the sincerest of flattery. Imitation belittles. We imitate only what we believe and admire. And the man who plants cabbage is imitated too. The seed dies into new life, and so does man. Thus, though to desperate was not spoken of the soul. Immortality will come to such as are fit for it, and he who would be a great soul in the future must be a great soul. Now I wish to believe in immortality. I wish to live with you forever. What is a human is immortal. Impatience dries the blood sooner than age of sorrow. He censures God who quarrels with the imperfection of man, the best of what to do and are just God forgive. In every part of the world, the good desire of man for peace and the decencies undermined by the rampant of jingoism, and it needs only one spark set off anywhere by the egomaniac to end it all up in one final fatal explosion. You write, is it not possible? That is not French. Few things are impossible to diligence and skill. A wise man never attempts impossibility. Why grew. Impulsiveness. The pupil of impulses, it forced him along. His conduct is still right, with his argument wrong. An idol as the painted ship upon a painted ocean, the mightiest powers, deepest calms are fed. Clocks will go on as they are set, but man, irregular man, is never constant, never certain. No man having put his hand on the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of God. It is a miserable thing to live in the suspense. It is the life of a spider. In the end, injustice produces independence. Independence, like honor, is a rocky island without a beach. He travels the fastest he travels alone. Sink or swim, live or die, survive or perish. I give my heart and hand to his vote. I do not know a method of drawing up an indictment against whole nation, full of sweet indifference. It can never be. They will digest this harsh indignity. Literary history and all history is a record of the power of minorities and of minorities. Indolence is a sleep of mind. Self-restraint is not, and not indulgence, must be regarded as the law of life. Temperance and industry are the two real physicians of mankind. What are we? How unequal now we soar and now we sink. No niggardly acceptance of the inevitable will appear blessing to God, leaving behind them horrible distress. Heaven lies about us in our infancy, at first the infant mewing and puking in the mother's arms. Canst of bind the sweet influence of the Pleiades or lose the bands of the Orient? Let him that would move the world first move himself. Influences exhalation of character. How sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a back discharge. Thy goods, the goods receive the reward is forgotten. Brutes leave ingratitude to man. No greater shame to man than humanity. In humanity, inhibitions imposed from without rarely succeed, but when they are self-imposed, they have decidedly satisfactory effect. It is the principle of human nature to hate those whom you have injured. No man is hurt but by himself. Unjust rule never endures perpetually. The most complete injustice is to seem just when not so. A drop of ink may make a million things. My ways are as broad as a king's high road, and my means lie in mankind. Ink stand. Innocence under the evil government must ever rejoice on the scaffold. They that know and know evil will suspect none. There is no courage but in innocence, no constancy but in an honest cause. Striving is better of we mar what's well. Avoid the person who asks questions, for such a man is a talker, nor will open ears keep faithfully the thing entrusted to them. All power of infancy over reason is the degree of insanity, though this is be madness, yet there is method in it. No one who holds himself aloof from the activities of the world and who is insensitive to its woes can be really wise. Nothing is more disgraceful than insincerity. The house of the old gave hands, but our new heraldry Grey is hands, not hearts. Great thoughts, great feelings come to him like instincts unawares. There is God within us, and we glow when He stirs us. No one was ever great without the touch of divine apparatus. He who begins many things finishes nothing. Instinct can reason. How can we divide? It is the fool's ignorance and the pedant's pride. It is always safe to learn, even from our enemies. Seldom safe to venture to instruct even our friends. An injury is much sooner forgotten than an insult. If you speak insults, you shall also hear them. Insults are like bad coins. You can help in their being offered to us, but we need not take them. Integrity is praise and starves. A man of integrity will never listen any plea against conscience. An honest man, the noblest work of God. The power least prized is that which thinks and feels. Otherwise, they run really extolling themselves, agree that the mind is to us the king of heaven and earth, intellect of this more than intelligence. Light has present even by beyond its thing. Simplicity of character is no hindrance to subtlety of intellect. No task is too stiff for his spirit. He that is a drunkard is qualified for all vices. The virtue and the vice are all but put in the motion of by interest. The vain religious sects ran mad. He held in spite of all his blaming, intolerance in itself a form of violence and an obstacle to the growth of a true democratic. A woman's intuition has often proved truer than man's arrogant assumption of knowledge. God had made me a pride, but they have sought out many inventions. Necessity is the mother of invention. The devil has a very inventive mind. I may be a despisable person, but when truth speaks through me, I am invincible. Whether they give or refuse, it delights women equally to have an asked. Look with what courteous act in which you are more removed ground. There's a common saying that when the horse is wrapped in the gall, he will kick. The Irish are the crybabies of the Western world. Even the mildest issue will set them off into resolutions and protests. Oh, Getty Bent is the evil green teeth creaked over twins soul eye. Jealousy, not jealousy, wasn't understood. The injured lover's hell. I can endure my own despair, but not another's hope. He's not jealous, he's not in love. The right honourable gentleman is indebted to his memory for his jest and to his imagination for his facts. Alas, poor Horatio! I knew him, Horatio, a fellow in finished jest, most excellent fancy. Jesting, it is good to make a jest, but not to make a dread jesting. Take heed of jesting. Many have been ruined by it. The jests of the rich are very successful.